2 years ago, Uncharted Drake's Fortune was hailed as one of the most cinematic experiences in gaming, not to mention being arguably the best PS3 exclusive at the time. The story of treasure hunter and scoundrel Nathan Drake's quest for the fortune of Sir Francis Drake was wonderfully written, with gorgeous visuals, excellent voice acting, and addictive gameplay. Despite launching to positive reviews, Drake's Fortune wasn't without problems. In making a sequel, developer Naughty Dog was challenged with fixing the issues of the first game while delivering another action-packed story. With a longer single-player storyline, the addition of multiplayer, improved gameplay mechanics, and phenomenal graphics and voice acting, Uncharted 2 Among Thieves is without a doubt one of the best games to come out this year. Approximately a year has passed for Nathan Drake since the events of Uncharted Drake's Fortune, and the fortune-seeking adventurer has his eye on something new, the lost fleet of historical explorer Marco Polo. Along the way, Nate finds himself working with his friend Sully, as well as the lovely Chloe, a former flame. The plot unfolds at a perfect pace over 26 chapters, and at around 12 hours, the single-player portion of the game is definitely longer than the first. The narrative is accompanied by, once again, some of the best dialogue and voice acting in gaming. The way characters interact, both in cutscenes and during actual gameplay, is fantastic. This was a hallmark of the first game, but Among Thieves may even have surpassed that. The basic gameplay in Among Thieves is similar to that of Drake's Fortune, but plenty of tweaks have been made to improve the experience. Throwing a grenade is now as simple as holding L2 and moving the analog stick. Melee combat has also been adjusted to a simple system of hitting and countering. No longer do you have to worry about button combinations during a heated firefight. If the need arises, you can quickly take down an enemy by hand. Additionally, there will be instances during which being more subtle is beneficial, and Nate can now sneak up behind foes or grab them from behind cover and eliminate them silently. When it comes to gunfights, the cover mechanics have been improved for both Nate and his foes. Among Thieves features extremely competent enemy AI, and foes will hide, fire blindly, and generally do what they can to avoid being killed. Your companions will also be quite helpful. Sully, Chloe, and Alina are skilled with guns and will assist you without getting in your way or doing the work for you.
Seems like I am always saving your ass.
Once again, Nathan Drake will have a lot of area to explore, which means plenty of climbing and platforming. One of the biggest changes in Among Thieves, though, is the variety of environments Nate will traverse on his latest journey. Instead of the same lush green jungle, the game takes you to snow-covered mountains, war-torn villages, and a well-guarded museum, to name just a few. Platforming elements like pipes, bars, and climbable bricks usually stand out pretty well, but it's easy to confuse part of the background with something you need to reach, which makes for a bit of trial and error. However, with checkpoints generously scattered throughout the game, this is hardly much of a setback. The puzzles in Among Thieves are few and far between, though Nate will have to rely on his trusty journal from time to time. The journal itself is a prime example of the attention to detail in this game. There are plenty of pages that feature doodlings and pictures of Nathan's companions and story elements, along with humorous comments. These segments are a nice change of pace from combat and platforming, adding even more variety to the gameplay. There is no question that this is a fantastic game, but that doesn't mean it's without its flaws. Just like the first, there are times when the camera won't align itself properly during a platforming segment, turning simple jumps into leaps of faith. The waves of enemies that constantly appear in some areas can get a little monotonous at times. Because both are mapped to the same button, there were a few times when Nate would roll away instead of sticking to cover. There's also a lingering feeling of familiarity, which can be both comforting and disconcerting. Once again, I felt myself involuntarily comparing the game to Tomb Raider and Indiana Jones, with cooperative elements vaguely reminiscent of Resident Evil 5. However, none of those are terrible things to be compared to, and Uncharted 2 has more than enough positive qualities to stand out, despite covering recognizable territory. As if a fantastic campaign was not enough, Among Thieves features a slew of new multiplayer options that should keep you occupied long after the credits roll. Though the main story cannot be played cooperatively, you can play through several controlled scenarios with up to 2 friends, with your trio taking the roles of Drake, Chloe, and Sully. As the 3 of you try to either get a treasure or transport it, various enemies will come at you from all sides, requiring true teamwork to survive. There's also a co-op survival mode, which requires your group to stay alive throughout wave after wave of attacking foes. There are also several new versus modes available in Among Thieves, such as Standard Team Deathmatch, King of the Hill, Elimination, and a treasure capturing option similar to Capture the Flag. None of them are entirely original, but the versus modes are still a lot of fun. Being in a 5-on-5 deathmatch in one of the game's locales and shooting down Drake and Alina is a little jarring, but the game's mechanics lend themselves well to a fun multiplayer experience. It almost seems like this game didn't need multiplayer because the campaign is so fantastic on its own, so the fact that it's more than just an addendum is yet another accomplishment. As for the presentation, Uncharted 2 Among Thieves is mind-blowing. The first game was a visual triumph, and the sequel once again sets the bar for this generation's graphical capabilities. Nathan will move through water or snow with realistic effects, water ripples in reaction, while snow will stick to his boots and pants. The environments are stunning, and I often found myself just panning the camera around trying to take it all in. The character models are excellent, with a great amount of attention to detail, which just adds to the cinematic feel of the game. The soundtrack is appropriately epic, with a score that seems to suit each scene perfectly, and the sound effects also intensify the adventure. Combine all of that with the aforementioned voice acting, and the results are incredible.
We just gotta find the right temple.
Well, that may be easier said than done.
Uncharted 2 Among Thieves has been one of the most anticipated games of the year, but after playing through it, I can honestly say that the hype was not unfounded. The words cinematic experience have been used to describe the game so often that it's probably cliché by now, but it's something that simply must be said. Even without multiplayer, this still would have been one of the best games to come along this year. Once again, Naughty Dog has raised the bar for gaming standards and produced a gem that should be in every gamer's library. Thanks for watching, and be sure to check out the full text review on Gamervision.com.